The great thing about yoga is how accessible it is to anyone and everyone. You don't need much space, you don't need anything specific to wear, and you don't need much equipment. Really, the only thing you need is a mat. Sure, you can do yoga without one, but the practicality of that is annoying at best and a little bit dangerous at worst. A mat's main purpose is to provide you grip to allow you to find strength and stability in whatever shape it is you're trying to encourage your body to make. Secondary to this, it's far more comfortable to kneel or lay on a mat than it is onto a floor. Do a low lunge on a tiled floor if you need evidence of this for yourself. So you've decided you're going to buy a yoga mat. Where on earth do you start and how do you know which one to get? I'm going to run through the differing features of yoga mats to make sure that you're choosing the right one for you, and then reviewing specific brands, so check the timestamps in the description to skip ahead if you wish. Mats tend to be made of one of four materials: PVC, microfiber, rubber or cork. So what's the difference? PVC. These are the mats you'll find on Amazon for about a tenner. They have a foam-like texture and you're likely to find them in your average cut-price gym. I'm not going to waste your time here. They're awful for yoga as there's no grip. They're awful for the environment as they're made from toxic materials which don't biodegrade. And even though they're more affordable, they aren't in the long run because they disintegrate and fall apart so quickly you'll be needing another one before long. So let's move on. Secondly, microfiber or suede effect yoga mats. They're designed for hot yoga. Those classes that are in a hot and humid room and make you sweat so much you'd be mistaken for having just been for a swim. Because you sweat so much, your mat needs to absorb all that moisture while still giving you enough grip. These mats tend to be very thin, and I'm not sure why, but the majority of hot yoga studios are carpeted, so that lack of cushioning isn't really an issue, but the smell it creates inside is another matter. Thirdly, rubber. So maybe you sensed my tone of the previous two, but we've finally arrived at what is widely accepted as the best material for a yoga mat. Most proper yoga mats are made from natural rubber. There are some brands that have a bit of man-made rubber in there as well, but the wonderful thing about this material is how goddamn grippy it is. Maybe this is a good time to point out that this super level of grippiness is responsible for really stretchifying yoga. When a mat provides you grip, your muscles don't have to work so hard to stabilize and hold your body in a certain shape. But as long as you're remembering to engage muscles as you practice, the grip is invaluable for really feeling the poses. Rubber mats maintain a good level of grip when wet as well, so they're pretty versatile for a range of yoga styles. Make sure you check the description of any mat that you're considering to ensure the material that you're buying, but generally rubber mats can be found from around £60 upwards. So yes, they're an investment piece, but they're hard-wearing, long-lasting, eco-friendly and overall worth it. And finally, cork. Cork yoga mats are a little less common, but actually provide pretty great grip. I have limited experience of cork, with only using one here and there in my practice, but have no complaints. I wouldn't say the grip is as good as a natural rubber mat, but being eco-friendly and lightweight, maybe this material is up and coming in the yoga mat world. So moving on, let's look at some of the rubber mat options. I asked my Instagram following which their favourite mats were and why, so that I can try to remove my personal bias from this overview. Bear in mind that as I'm English, I'm speaking in British pounds for price and speaking in ballpoint figures as well, but all these mats are available internationally. There are two different kinds of rubber mat, or two finishes: textured and non-textured, also known as smooth. The smooth mats have a plastic-based top layer which is designed to give them more durability and to be moisture repellent. From experience of using many of both types, personally, I find textured mats better, and the results from my poll agreed. The plastic-based top layer of a smooth mat can become a little slippery if you're practicing hot yoga or somebody that gets very sweaty, which almost negates its need to be super moisture repellent in the first place. And yes, the durability of textured mats is slightly less than the smooth, but for the amount of use that they can take before showing signs of wear, it's not an issue that would deter me. I teach on a textured mat, which I'll get to later, and after 2 years of daily use, it's starting to lose its grip now and need replacing. That's over 728 uses. The majority of votes from my online poll were shared between the Manduka Pro and Jade yoga mats, both of which are textured rubber. Lululemon also stuck out as a favourite, and they are considerably cheaper. So now I'm going to run through a summary of each of the popular brands, including cost, for a balanced overview. So, in no particular order, number 1, Jade yoga mats. These mats are the standard 5mm thickness and come in 2 different lengths, particularly good for us tall humans. The regular size sits at a reasonable £70 and the longer length at £75. As mentioned, they're textured rubber and grippiness on these is incredible. Also worth noting that Jade plant a tree for every single mat that they sell, and supporting companies who do good things in this world is always a bonus. Number 2, Manduka Pro. Manduka do a variety of styles of mat, but it's the Pro mat that's the one that brought in many votes, and rightly so. Much like Jade, it has a textured finish and comes in the 2 different sizes. The regular Pro is 6mm thick, which sounds like music to my knees, and comes in regular and tall as well. The regular length will set you back £100 and the tall is £110. There is also a light version, which is 4.7mm thick, which is £70 and £80 respectively of the 2 sizes. They take a couple of practices to wear in, something to do with the top coat needing to break down, but once you've broken through that, you've got yourself one incredibly grippy mat, and it is very, very durable. Number 3, Lululemon. Lulu do a reversible and a non-reversible mat, which are both the same price, so I'm not really sure of the benefits of getting the non-reversible one. Their website lacks a bit of information really, but from personal experience, you get smooth rubber on one side and textured rubber on the reverse. The mats are your standard 5mm thick, and interestingly, they retail at £58 or £68 for a tall version, which puts them at one of the cheapest rubber mats on the market, yet still pull in a hefty amount of the votes. Number 4, B-Yoga mats. Now, B-Yoga mats didn't get a huge amount of votes on my poll, but I'm compelled to mention them here, as after all, this is my YouTube video. B-mats also come in standard and long length and 2 different thicknesses, depending on your preference. The prices start at £70 for the thinner, regular length mat, all the way up to £82 for the thicker and longer length mat. And there's obviously a range of prices in between for those combinations. I'm a big fan of the material and often wonder why they aren't so well known about. Liforme need a mention here, as many yogis swear by them, and they're a long-standing, very reputable company. Their mats are a smooth rubber top and about 4mm thick. They retail at around £100, and their major advantage for newbies are the alignment markers on their top surface to help you get a better understanding of where to put your body in certain shapes. However, Liforme didn't get many votes in my poll, and my personal opinion doesn't put them near the top of the list either. They do lots of good things in this world with charitable donations to various good causes, so you can be sure your money is going in a good direction if you make this choice. Other worthwhile mentions are going to the Alo Yoga warrior mat, which has many similarities with the Liforme mat, but without those alignment markers, and it retails at around £80. There's also Yogi Bare, which I haven't tried personally, but is again a smooth-topped 4mm mat retailing at £68 with lots of votes and good reviews. Of course, there are endless other makes out there, and people sometimes get lucky with buying one from a company they've never heard of, but these are your main market competitors for good reason. They provide value for money and great quality products. Now, for a moment of my personal opinion, when I take into consideration the amount of use I personally get from a yoga mat and how long one might last me, the Manduka Pro gets my vote as the best mat. Yes, they might be on par as the most expensive, but as with most things in this world, you get what you pay for. If your yoga practice is a new addition to your life, the Lululemon reversible mat is providing you great quality at a much cheaper price point, which might serve as a more financially comfortable place to be going with whilst you establish this new hobby and be sure it's something you're sticking with. Let me know your experience with various mats below in the comments, whether or not you're team textured or team smooth. But ultimately, I hope this info has been useful for you to prevent you buying a mat and it not being what you expected. This video is not sponsored, but I've put links in the descriptions of where you can find each of the mats that I've spoken about in this video.